The fight world is no stranger to drama. Every day brings a new story of conflict, redemption, betrayal, and ambition. Yet few tales capture the raw emotion, desperation, and personal upheaval quite like the recent turn in the life of a former UFC champion who now finds himself outside the world he once ruled, pleading for a second chance. This is a story of rise, fall, and perhaps rebirth. At the center of it is not only the ex-champion himself, but also UFC President Dana White and the enigmatic figure of Conor McGregor, whose surprise meeting with the fallen warrior is setting tongues wagging across the MMA universe. The sport of mixed martial arts is ruthless. There is no loyalty to the past, no guarantee of a future. You are only as good as your last fight. For this former champion, once beloved by fans, praised by pundits, and feared by opponents, the fall from grace was steep. Injuries, personal scandals, contract disputes, and a string of disappointing performances had quietly exiled him from the octagon. Once a headliner, now a ghost. Not officially retired. Not officially active. Just gone. What makes this story compelling is how public the plea has become. In an emotional video posted to social media, the former champ, his name withheld at first to stir curiosity, appeared on camera, not in a gym or octagon, but in the backseat of a car, voice trembling and eyes bloodshot. He looked defeated, but not entirely broken. "I need help," he said. "Dana, if you see this, please, I've made mistakes. I know I've said things. I know I've burned bridges. But I want back in. Not just in the UFC. Back into the fight. Back into my life." The reaction was immediate. Fans speculated wildly. Was it Tyron Woodley? Cody Garbrandt? Was it an older legend like Rashad Evans or even BJ Penn? The face was gaunt, the hair disheveled, the body a shadow of its former self. But there was something unmistakably familiar in the eyes. The pain of a fighter still fighting something. Only this time it wasn't an opponent across the cage, but demons within. Within hours, Dana White was trending on social media. Fans demanded a response. Was the UFC president going to acknowledge the plea? Or was this just another emotional outburst in a sport known for theatrics? To Dana's credit, he didn't ignore it. At a press conference promoting an upcoming pay-per-view event, a reporter asked the question, "Did you see the video?" Dana paused. He leaned forward and exhaled. "I saw it," he said flatly. "Yeah, I saw it." Silence. Cameras clicked. He continued, "Listen, you guys know me. I don't do pity. I don't do charity. This is a brutal business. You make choices. You live with them. But at the same time, some of these guys, man, they give everything to this sport. And when the lights fade, they struggle. I'm not saying anything now. But yeah, I saw it." The response, cryptic though it was, signaled something bigger. Dana doesn't give away sentiment easily. For him to even acknowledge the pain of a former fighter in public was telling. Then came the bombshell. TMZ leaked that the ex-champion had shown up in Las Vegas. Not for a fight camp, not for a media gig, but for a meeting with Dana White. But he wasn't alone. Conor McGregor was in the building. The meeting, confirmed by multiple sources, took place in Dana's private office at the UFC headquarters. According to insiders, Conor arrived first, casually dressed in designer wear and shades, greeting staff with his usual bravado. Then came the ex-champion, hood up, silent, keeping to himself. For 2 hours, the three men remained behind closed doors. Security stood at the door. No media was allowed inside. The UFC's own PR team was silent. But as always, leaks trickled out. What was discussed? Why was Conor there? One version suggests that Conor asked to be part of the meeting, having seen the same video everyone else had. Another version claims it was Dana's idea, believing that Conor, someone who understands both the highs of superstardom and the lows of scandal, could speak to the ex-champ in a way few others could. Whatever the truth, the meeting was intense. It wasn't just a business thing, said one staffer who asked to remain anonymous. There were tears. There was yelling. But also, there was laughter. It was like they were trying to break through years of hurt and miscommunication in one sitting. The former champion, now revealed to be Tony Ferguson, had come full circle. Once hailed as El Chuchui, the boogeyman of the lightweight division, Ferguson's career had taken a dark turn after his loss to Justin Gaethje in 2020. What followed was a brutal string of losses, mental health struggles, and public controversies. Once feared, now doubted. Once a title contender, now a cautionary tale. His feud with the UFC had been public. He called out Dana White. He accused the promotion of abandoning him. At times, he appeared unhinged on social media. But through all of it, Ferguson maintained one truth. He never stopped being a fighter. "I bled for this company," he once said. "I broke bones for this company. I broke my damn self for this company." But the company moved on. New stars emerged. Khabib retired. Poirier rose. Chandler arrived. And Ferguson, he disappeared, physically present on cards, but spiritually lost. And now here he was, sitting across from Dana White, next to Conor McGregor, asking for help. Conor's involvement surprised many. The two had shared bad blood in the past. Ferguson often ridiculed McGregor's antics, questioned his heart, mocked his losses. Conor, never one to back down, fired back with venom. But something had changed. Maybe it was fatherhood. Maybe it was the slow march of time that softens even the hardest hearts. Or maybe it was because Conor, too, had once felt the coldness of the fight world when you're no longer the golden goose. Whatever the reason, Conor reportedly said this to Ferguson during the meeting. "You fought like a savage. You made the people scream. You gave them moments, brother. You're not done unless you want to be done." That quote, shared by someone in the building, hit hard. Ferguson, eyes red, replied, "I never wanted it to end like this. I just want one more shot. One more chance to prove I'm still in hay." Dana, always the pragmatist, made no promises. But he listened, and that was more than Ferguson had hoped for. In the days following the meeting, Tony Ferguson remained in Las Vegas. He was seen training at the UFC Performance Institute, not with a full camp, not with cameras, just sweat, repetition, pain, and then came the video. A new one, this time from the UFC's own account. It showed Ferguson shadowboxing. His movement, slower than his prime, but still precise. In the background, Conor McGregor appeared briefly, leaning against the cage, arms folded, watching. The caption was simple, "Still in the fight." The internet exploded. Was this a tease? Was Dana going to bring Ferguson back? Was Conor going to corner him? Then came the podcast appearances. Tony showed up on a few MMA platforms, sounding more grounded, more focused. He didn't make excuses for his past. He didn't rant. He simply said, "I lost my way, but I'm finding it again. And if Dana gives me the chance, I'll earn every second of it." One of the most emotional moments came when Ferguson spoke about his family, his wife, his son, and how his downward spiral had taken a toll on them. "I let the darkness in," he said, "and it almost cost me everything. But I'm fighting my way back." Fans began rallying behind him. Hashtags like #OneMoreFight and #ReturnofElChuchui began trending. Fighters posted support, some skeptically, others enthusiastically. Even Joe Rogan, who had once called for Ferguson's retirement, admitted on his podcast, "If Tony's healthy, mentally and physically, and is surrounded by the right people, I'd love to see him get one more shot." The man was a force. As for Dana White, the public waited. And then, at a press conference for UFC 310, he said it. Tony Ferguson will fight again. One last ride. That's it. The room erupted. Dana clarified, "He's getting one more fight. That's what we agreed to." He knows the stakes. No circus. No drama. Just one more fight to see if the fire is still there. As for the opponent, rumors range from legends like Jim Miller to young prospects hungry for a big name. But the most surprising possibility? Paddy Pimblett. Talks of a Ferguson versus Pimblett bout in Madison Square Garden have surfaced. An old warrior versus a rising showman. Experience versus youth. Grit versus flash. Nothing confirmed yet, but the buzz is deafening. As for Conor McGregor, he remains in the shadows of this story. No official comment. No tweets. Just that quiet, unexpected appearance in the room where Tony Ferguson asked for help. Perhaps that's the most powerful part of this whole story. Not just the meeting with Dana White, but the moment shared between two men once at odds, now bound by the same unforgiving fight game. A game that lifts you, uses you, and if you're lucky, lets you leave with some dignity. Tony Ferguson may not become champion again. He may not win his next fight, but the courage to ask for help, the humility to change, and the fire to return, that, in this brutal sport, is already a kind of victory. And who knows, maybe this meeting, with Dana White, with Conor McGregor, with himself, is exactly what Tony Ferguson needed all along.